Hello friends, welcome back for another part of our walkthrough of Oxygen Not Included Spaced Out DLC. I don't even know what part we're on. It's 20-something, 29 probably. I don't know. I could probably look, but let's not be accurate, because who wants to be accurate? Alright, so, last video, we were just getting our cooling setup ready, and that's because we are preparing to take these metal volcanoes. I'm just going to show taking one of them, but we do need more supplies before we're able to take this, because we don't have enough steel on this asteroid. So we're going to go back home for a little bit and do a couple of things of maintenance really quickly. For one, we need a way to send our steel there. So let's see how much steel we have kind of just chilling. We have 16 tons, which is really kicked up because we started to ship back all the fossil from the other asteroid. So producing a lot of steel here, getting iron going. Yeah, I'll talk about this shipping setup in a second because I just remembered that we never talked about it. So I also never hooked it up all the way, so should probably do that. Let's get our steel shipped over there, though. We can just use our exploration rocket for this, so all I'm really going to do is we need more algae and we need more berry sludge anyway, so let's just get our typical things that we would get set up here, asking for supplies. And we will ask for more plastic, because we might as well make data banks while we're flying, more algae, and some berry sludge in a refrigerator here in a second. So duplicants will get up there and get that taken care of. But I just wanted to mention a couple of other things too. One of which is, by this point in the run, at least for me, I started to run out of sandstone and sedimentary rock, or at least I didn't have it all getting shipped here. So I've been continuing to dig around the map to try to find some more and ship it back with some setups like this that aren't quite done yet. But also, the other good thing about these stone hatches, which is why I really like them in Spaced Out, is they have a wider diet of things that are pretty common. So I will start feeding these my granite as well, and that will keep the coal flowing for a little while, because your coal might be in pretty high demand depending on how all of your power is going either here or on the oil asteroid. So these stone hatches are really good. I can start sending my granite here as well. You can see it start to pile up. Just remember to turn your conveyor loaders off of granite so that you're only sending back everything except for the 3 food sources that you're feeding them. So granite, sandstone, sedimentary rock. Fossils should never get in here, I guess, but I guess it just wasn't checked at the time. So yeah, that's all going here. Let's talk about the shipping setup for this, too. This is where all the steel is being produced. This is also where I'm going to start ceramic, which we'll do in just a second. And this is where stuff is getting crushed down into lime. So the shipping that's going to go here, I have a bunch of conveyor receptacles here holding different things. We take a look at the line as far as what's coming in. Oh, you can't really see it that well. If I just hover over it, I guess it'll say. So this one's holding iron ore. I just have it in a conveyor receptacle because if I want to make steel here, I want to use the iron ore to turn into iron and then into steel. But I don't want all of it to be piled up in this one spot, so just going to use it for that. This one's going to be holding coal because I'm going to need coal to start producing ceramic, which I'm going to want here in just a little bit. You can survive on igneous rock, but you really need ceramic when you want to start getting your hydrogen liquefaction setup going. So yeah, you're going to want that soon too. And then thirdly, I'm also sending clay here because we will also want clay to be used for the ceramic. So yeah, got a few things being shipped here. The fourth is a conveyor chute. This conveyor chute is just going to be for everything that I know is only going to go here and doesn't need to go anywhere else. So on this bin, I can set it all up. It's going to basically be everything for lime. So I can send lime itself. I can also send a few other things like these poke shell molts if I happen to get any. I can also send down my eggshells. And I will also want to send down my fossil. So all of those things will be things that I'm going to want to crush in order to get some lime so I can produce steel and kind of keep that rolling. But yeah, this setup, we never really fully talked about getting everything shipped here to be a lot more convenient. The things that I want to ship out, though, is really just everything except for certain things. That's a really terrible way of describing that, but I don't want to ship back my coal or lime. I definitely want those two things to stay. Refined carbon also just needs to stick down here because that's going to be used for the steel, so those things should be good. Let's see, critter eggs, yeah, cultivable soil, we don't need anything about that. Probably shouldn't send the clay back, but I don't think it'll pull it from here and put it into the other thing, so just to be safe. Some logic stuff has changed in the past, so might as well be safe about it. Don't want to send my molts back through. I want those to be crushed. Any liquefiables, which we probably won't ever see. I want to send all this stuff back so that it's at least in a more central point once it gets produced. Let's see, what else is here? I don't want to send my iron ore back, so I'm going to get rid of that. Miscellaneous, we can leave that alone. Organic, I want to leave my eggshells here whenever they fall on the ground. I just want them to sit there until they've been crushed. Same thing with fossil. Refined metal, I want to keep my iron here just so it's right next to my setup for making steel. So there we go. That's all the shipping that's going to be needed for this area. I'm just going to hook this up to power really quickly. There we go. Let's see if our duplicants have managed to find the time to do this. Oh, wow, they didn't. Okay, whatever. So, just going to prioritize this a little bit higher now. But we want to send out a rocket that has our steel, algae, berry sludge, plastic, all that kind of stuff. And I want to fly it back here. I just created a new quick little setup for this rocket to kind of sit in, so that it doesn't push all the carbon dioxide onto all these solar panels and overheat them. So the rocket will just kind of land in here. I'll create a little door opening or something like that when the time comes for the duplicant to actually get out and bring the steel out of the rocket. But first, we just need to get it all in here first. So I'm just going to say, how much steel do we want? I don't know. Let's say 10,000 kilograms. Manufactured material steel. We also want to fill up our algae again. So organic, algae, I don't know, 4,000 seemed like it lasted us for quite a while. We'll turn these up also. I won't bore you with all the details, but basically, you're going to get the stuff loaded in here that you want to take. I'm just going to fly that rocket over to here, land it on this planet here, and then I'm going to unload all the steel and kind of put it in this base so that this can be used and we can get started on capturing our volcanoes. I know we're already 7 minutes into the video about capturing volcanoes and we haven't talked about that at all yet, but there was some other housekeeping that we needed to do, and Spaced Out will keep you a lot more busy, so that's just kind of part of the game. Alright, so I'm going to do a little trick here. We're just going to magically make a rocket appear. Woo! Hey, there it is. Alright. So Travaldo is here with our steel, and so now we can get started on building all this stuff. But Travaldo is going to be stuck in here, so we probably want to build something. I guess we'll just open up right here. There we go. I guess we could probably just leave this open. We don't necessarily need a door, but for my steel, I do have this marked to receive any swept items, so just going to go in here, mark the steel for sweep, and they will just grab it and bring it in the base. Then I can send Travaldo home, because we don't need Travaldo to be there the whole time. Oh, a couple other things that I forgot on this asteroid, by the way, is you want to make sure you're constantly repairing your Atmo suits. So I'm getting some empty docks because I didn't do that yet, so got that going. Also, I totally forgot that we want to put a mini-pod on each asteroid. I didn't do that yet for whatever reason, but that is one of our requirements, so yeah, just remember to do that at some point. It's also nice because you can print stuff here if you need to. So yeah, let's just inspect this and activate it. There we go. Okay, so now, we should have our steel that should be coming in now. Let's start getting this captured. So what I'm going to do, there's a whole bunch of metal volcanoes here. I kind of want all of them, only because it's just free resources. We might as well take it if we can get it. And it also will produce a little bit of extra power. So I'm going to grab this aluminum one first. And aluminum's a little bit harder to work with than gold and copper. It's a little hotter, so I guess we should start with the most difficult one for the sake of example, just in case you're doing this one and you're used to setting up something else. So first thing, I want to pick something that's dormant right now. This one's dormant. That means that it won't potentially erupt while I'm trying to deal with it. And then I'm just going to create a way in there really quickly. So just something like this. And I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter than I normally would, only because we're kind of like bumping up against the floor of this, and I still want a passageway here. But as long as we're 3 tiles tall in either spot, we should be fine to fit all the equipment that we need in there. I'm going to also put a layer of igneous rock here. This would have also been a nice use of our ceramic, by the way, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And then this is just going to kind of come down and come up right against the aluminum volcano. The reason that you might want ceramic for some of these other volcanoes, especially if you take regular ones, is because it'll melt these walls. The melting point of this is just a little bit higher or rather a little bit lower than what this comes out at. Fortunately, the metal won't put that much of a strain on these tiles, so you should be okay with the metal volcanoes, but if you were taking regular volcanoes, you would definitely want to make this out of ceramic. I have not been making ceramic yet. I don't think it's that essential for this part of the run yet, so I would not worry about it too much. Also, I'm going to make a ladder down here, which we'll talk about in just a sec. But yeah, I'm going to make this kind of wide. It looks like, I'm not sure exactly how many tiles this is, but it fits in here pretty nicely. I probably want to make it at least like 9 tiles to give it a good amount of space to spread out. So this is probably fine. I'm going to dig out this thing last, though. So that's the last thing that I'm going to want to do. I will also want to surround this with igneous rock, so something like this. Then right above that, or it could be over here or something, it doesn't really matter where. I'm going to do it right above the volcano. You're going to put a steam turbine. That's just going to help to keep this whole area cool. And down here is obviously going to be filled with steam once the aluminum erupts out of here and boils it all off. So that will be part of what we do here. The other thing that I'm going to do is I will just create a wall of metal tiles here because I'm going to put some salt water in this area. And this salt water is going to be used to cool down the aluminum, at least after it cools down in the steam for a little bit. It'll cool it down the rest of the way here so that it can finally get sent out into my base and I can ship it back home or wherever else I need to go with it. So I'm also going to leave a little space for a ladder here just because getting back in here is going to be a little bit awkward. So that should be fine. Actually, let me do this. Let's come in from this side. I can just come in from that side. I'll cancel these two. We'll eventually seal this all off entirely, but because we're only 3 tiles tall, we're going to need extra space in here, so I guess we'll just do that. Not my favorite setup, but sometimes you just got to do what works. Oh, also what I should be doing is mining this out with ladders so that I don't have a bunch of junk in here, so let me cancel this. There we go. This will make it so that all the debris will kind of fall down to the bottom instead of sticking in there, and I won't have to, like, sweep it all out when it's time. I can just already have it out of the way. Up here I should probably be doing the same thing, but the places that it fell, I guess I could just deconstruct them. Let me cancel all this and put this back to ladders really quick. There we go. Something like that, and then we'll get all the debris out of here. We're going to need to ship stuff out of here anyway, so what's going to happen is this is going to erupt every once in a while. We will unearth this last, and we'll try to analyze it before it erupts, if we can get it done in time. If not, I mean, I don't really know what I'm going to do with the information, like I say a lot, but a lot of people like to know when it's going to erupt, so I don't mind doing it. Auto Sweeper is going to be placed kind of next to the volcano, kind of something like that, so that it can reach and grab any aluminum that comes down here and hardens after it touches the water or steam or whatever is going to be down here. So I'm going to want that. Next to that, I'm also going to want a conveyor loader. By the way, this all needs to be made out of steel. This was the reason that I needed to get more, is because I would have ran out. Wouldn't have been able to keep all this stuff here. Who's suffocating? Ada. This is actually kind of bad. Let's see. How are we going to get you out? Sandstone is what we have available. There we go. Get out of there. Good job. Run away. Okay. Just got to save these dupes from suffocating. Alright, so once we have this down here, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a little bit of a back and forth of these lines to let the basically super duper hot aluminum start to cool down before it starts to go into our water. So once it goes into the water, we can go here, but we're going to set up a couple of things while we're in here to make sure that it stays in those areas as long as we need it to before it's allowed to move out of there. Now that we have all these ladders done, let's just unearth the top 2 tiles safely. There's like one tile right in the middle of this that is the thing that determines if it's blocked. So if that one tile is still there, this will not erupt. So this is still safe. Even if this was wanting to erupt right now, it still wouldn't because this part is still there. So anyway, so what I was saying is the auto sweeper is going to grab any of the aluminum that comes down, and it's going to get shipped out on this line and kind of snake back and forth. And then it will finally get to a point where we want to evaluate it to make sure that it is cool enough before we send it on its way. So just going to put another thing here made out of steel, this conveyor rail thermosensor, to make sure that it is cool enough before we allow it to pass. When we do allow it to pass, it's just going to go through a conveyor shutoff, which I think we've used before already. So this might be duplicate information, but same idea when it's in this water up here. I just want to make sure that it's cool enough to actually allow into my base instead of just guessing. So just going to do that. I'll hook it up that way. I mean, we already learned this lesson about gold earlier. I guess we should use something else to make sure that it doesn't melt while it's in there. So we've got all this stuff. Top of this can now be turned back into insulated tiles. Just do something like this. We will want water here, and we will also want to vacuum out the air inside this. So I'm just going to put a gas pump like that. Gonna run a gas pipe out of here. Guess we could just do that. That was unnecessary to go that far around, but whatever. Waiting for the game to load. Then we need to put this on a switch because we will want to turn it off eventually once we pumped out all of the gas. Then we will also want a vent here that's going to be for just regular water down here to create the steam. This is all kind of review stuff that we've done before, but it's not overly obvious every time. So I don't mind going back through it and making sure that we understand what all is going on. I don't want to wall this off yet, actually, so let's make sure that's not. Okay, let's get our water to come down here. One thing I was doing was, this water is kind of in the way of this volcano and a little bit of this volcano, so I'm trying to put it all in these tanks up here, just so that I can move it out of the way and send it somewhere else. So I guess I'll just send it through these tanks, kind of get it to come back down over here, and we can just run it into the place that we need to drop it off. I guess I could use a shutoff for this. I probably should. That would be smart. And then let's make sure that we keep the directions on these correct. There we go. Then we can just run this pipe up here. Okay. There's quite a few things to do right now. One other thing that I'm going to do really quickly, I'm going to seal this off. And then I'm going to send my salt water down here on one of these lines. I know I'm still filling up these tanks. I'm kind of just, like, robbing from myself in order to get this done, but I'm actually wondering if I'm going to be able to fill all these up entirely with the salt water I have. I might need to start using some of this salt water, but this thing's dormant. We can also just use regular water here if we really need to. I'd rather just use the salt water because the regular water can be reserved for my food. I don't know. We'll see. So let me give my duplicants just a little bit to catch up. I'll start filling up this chamber. Yeah, I'll get some power lines ran here. Nothing too important right now, but we'll get caught up here in just a second, so give my dupes just a bit. Okay, our duplicants have caught up a little bit. A couple of notes that I want to mention here. One is that you can really, well, you need to be careful to not overfill this with too much water. Otherwise, if the pressure is too high, the volcano will not erupt. So something that's probably a good idea to do, something that I haven't really done that much before, but I really should because I've put myself in this situation more than once, is just hook up a water sensor here to make sure that you're not overfilling this, because it can be easy to remember to, or sorry, easy to forget to turn this off in time. So I'm just going to set up something like this to make sure that we don't overfill this. As for our shipping out of here, I'm just going to ship everything, and we're just going to get running right now. The temperatures that I want to make sure that these things cannot pass at is anywhere, well, I guess I shouldn't be saying it that way. I only want to let this thing through if it's going to be below, like, I don't know, 180 Celsius. If it's below that, I will allow it to come into here, which is going to be filled up with water. And then I don't want it to leave my base until it's below, like, I don't know, 25 C. So that's a pretty reasonable room temperature. So, yeah. The other thing is I'm just going to go ahead and close this off. And we need to start routing some water down here to get this filled up also. So, just going to set up a vent. I will use the salt water. I guess we're just going to rob it from one of these lines. Whatever. And just kind of set it up like this. The only other thing that we're going to need to pay attention to is how we're going to keep this pool of water cold. And that was the whole point of this. So we can just grab one of these tanks that is basically ready to be hooked up. I think I'll just take this one. I don't know why I didn't hook this one up all the way, but... There you go. I'm just going to take this one and just kind of put it on a really simple loop of going back and forth through the water to cool it down. So just some basic radiant pipe, something like this. We're almost out, as I'm being very careful. There we go. Guess we could cancel this and have it just come up the other side. So yeah, just going to use this for cooling. Pretty basic setup, all things considered. And just kind of loop it through there. That'll help keep everything cool, because this water ought to start getting very cold once we have these aqua tuners running for long enough. So that's kind of the idea. Once I get this all... I guess we could dig this out. Oh, no, this just woke up. Okay, well, I guess that's a good or a bad thing, depending on how we look at it. Maybe we could just watch the first eruption, but usually when it first wakes up, it takes a while before it finally, like, does something. So I'm not going to try to get in there and analyze it. I'm just going to close this off after I dig this out, so that we can get this done as soon as possible. Looks like this not being allowed through because it's not cold enough. 25.1. Okay, fine, 28. There we go. We could also just, like, take our chances and see if somebody could get this done before then, but I don't know if they will be able to. Okay, let's do it. So, I don't want this to go above maybe, like, 350. The pressure that this is going to start getting blocked up at is like 150 kilograms per tile. So you can kind of just do the math of, this is going to take 3 tiles for every vertical one, so... I could technically go up to like 450, but I'm just going to play it more safe and keep it at around 350. All right, let's see if somebody can analyze this in time. We need field research on someone here. Skills. Who has this? Who has enough room, that is? Metal nails. Metal nails. I never even noticed that. Let's see. Who actually likes to do this? Let's start with that. No one? No one? Okay. Well, nails, you're getting it. All right, let's see if Nails can get this done before this erupts, and I'm going to want to pump all the gas out of here first, but we're taking a risk for no reason. Yay! All right, let's see if Nails can get this. So this is not going to be very exciting for us to just sit and watch, so I'll come back either when Nails is about done or when this is about to erupt, so we'll find out in about 2 seconds. Well, I said 2 seconds, and I literally meant actually like 10 game seconds, because she hasn't even started yet. And this is about to erupt, so I need to not do this. Cancel. I guess we can just go ahead and close this off. We'll just have this annoying progress bar not all the way done for the rest of time. So, yeah, that'll be that. This first eruption probably should not boil this water. I think we're going to be fine. So we still should have time to pump out all the gas, but fortunately enough, this is only carbon dioxide down here, so it shouldn't cause that much of a problem. Hey, there you go! Actually, you know what? Maybe if this doesn't boil it, we could actually get in there and get the rest of this researched. Let's see what happens. The water's rising, or the temperature's rising pretty fast. This might be a little bit of a problem. Okay, it stopped. Cool. And now is this hot enough to actually work in? I think we might be okay. Let's do this. Let's see if we can get Nails in there to actually research this properly, because now we should have a good amount of time. This will probably also... have the effect of making you either more reckless when doing this or less scared of doing it. So whichever one happens, I guess is okay. All right, we'll let Nails finish this up, and then we'll get this all closed up, vacuumed out, and we'll call it good. So I'll come back when all that stuff's been done. Okay, this attempt might be kind of futile to get this because it's already starting to erupt again. So Nails, get out of there. We're going to wall this off, and we're just going to vacuum this out and call it good. I guess if you had more time or if this was dormant, you could analyze it, but I'm not really going to do much with that information, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Let's make sure we get this walled before this starts to turn into steam. Come on, hurry up. There we go. Oh. Okay, a little bit came out, but I think we're okay. This also means that the carbon dioxide is going to get stuck down here, but I guess it's not the worst thing. If it were oxygen, it would start blocking these, but I guess we can live with that. So this is pretty much it. All we're going to need to do is wait for this to cool down so that the rest of this stuff and the metal can start flowing through there. But that's basically it. And I'm not going to mess around with this anymore because I don't want any duplicants to be dying or getting stuck in there or whatever. So this will all kind of regulate. I'll show it in the next video when we come back. All we're going to really be doing from here until the next video is capturing the rest of these metal volcanoes as much as we can. So this is going to look a little bit different. If anything else comes up in the meantime, I will start recording and kind of start another video, but I don't exactly know what it's going to be about yet. So yeah, we'll get there. Okay, thanks for watching. Hopefully that was informative. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon.